Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Tool Show with me, Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. And it's another beautiful morning up here in Crescent Wrench Heights, and I figured why not talk about something that's pretty cool. And I know I've always kind of had a lot of different ideas and inventions. That's a pretty cool thing. If you can invent something new, you're always going to live forever probably, because that invention is something that's going to be there forever. And I figured why not talk about inventions over a delicious coffee time segment. Coconut mocha. It was one of those ones my mom sent from the States, and it's delicious, so thank you, Mom. But one thing about the inventions is you have to have a lot of money if you want to be able to invent something nowadays, because you can't just claim something is yours. You have to actually prove that you patented it and that nobody else can steal your idea and that nobody came up with that idea first. But to patent something, it costs a lot of money, and that's why you have to have kind of a plan, I guess, for it. And it's tough sometimes, especially if you're just an average man or woman. You can't afford the price of a patent, so it's tough. And that's why I always said that I just didn't have the time or the money to put into patenting some of my ideas, so I've given away a few of my inventions in the past. But it's just it's kind of something that I figured was easier. I didn't want to put that much energy into trying to invent it, so I emailed some companies that could and gave away some really awesome ideas that I had. And I would give them to you, but I'm still waiting for these companies to get back, and hopefully they'll have it already done by then and at least give me some ideas, or I can say later that I sent them with my little email, but that's all right too. But other than that, patenting it's tough. And I remember when I was watching a video one time, it was a documentary on the patent office in the United States, and I know it was really exciting, but it actually was pretty cool to see all the different patents and how the guys came up with the ideas, or the women came up with the ideas, and it was actually really neat. But it's kind of funny because at the end of the 1800s and the early 1900s, the US Patent Office actually believed they were going to have to close down because they were going to run out of patents. People couldn't invent any more ideas. So that's probably 100 years before the iPhone or basically the major revolution. And then even that's just a few years before the major industrial revolution. And it's just like the puppy who lost his way. The puppy represents industry. But you have to look that up online. That's a different thing too. But inventing, though, that's the big part about it, is they actually thought they were going to run out of inventions, so they figured they were going to have to close the US Patent Office in the late 1800s, which turned out to be totally wrong. But the problem with that is it costs a lot of money because of the processing fees, it's kind of crazy, especially nowadays. It's just a computer that you're kind of telling a computer what your idea is, and then somebody looks into that, so it shouldn't cost thousands of dollars, but it does. So that's why a lot of the time you have to have some kind of sponsor and investor in your product, basically. So you got to learn how to market yourself, which is a whole different video. I can't tell you that in this one, because that's a big project too, is learning how to market your own project, because that's what I'm trying to do with Tool Show right now, is trying to get it out to the people that actually kind of can help even more and get it to a bigger market. And I'm hopefully this fall we're going to have it on some big time television channels, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are going to freak out, and eventually we're all just going to be, I don't know, someplace really cool and doing really cool stuff. So that's where we're going. But that's why I had to invent the show and kind of keep going with it. But no, I figured before we get too far, though, I wanted to give you guys an invention of your own. This is one of my other inventions, but you guys can use that for your own. And I didn't want to give you one of the best ones, but I figured I'd give you a pretty good one, and what kind of goes along with our delicious coffee time segments here. Now, one morning I was mixing a coffee up and it was delicious, but the problem was I was just about to pour in the cream, and I ended up pouring in way too much cream into the coffee. And there was a problem, because that just meant my coffee was like a milky soup kind of thing, and it was really gross. So I was wondering, is there any way to separate the cream from the coffee? And that's where I invented the cream separator. Now, that's where you guys come in, is you guys got to figure out how you're going to centrifuge that and kind of spin it around, separate the cream from the coffee, and then there you go. You've got yourself it's probably a $1,000 idea. I wouldn't say it's $1 million idea, but you guys can have that one and go from there, because you can have a cream and sugar separator. I don't know how you really do the sugar one, because that one's a bit too advanced. You're gonna have to get a distillery or something like that, and it's just a lot cheaper to pour out the coffee. But there you go. So there's your $1,000 idea for the day. And inventions, that's what it is. You got to get out there, try to invent something, and try to make your name last forever, because it goes back to our older segment of how to live forever. And if you want to live forever, you got to have something that kind of, I don't know, goes with you, like a legacy, like an invention or some kind of, I don't know, anything. Basically, you got to just get out there and do a video, become whatever you want to do. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, was inventing something cool. And now you guys have my $1,000 idea, and hopefully you guys can use that. So for Tool Show, I'm Master Dan, the Journeyman shooter. Get out there and invent something new. Thank you so much.